The Legend of Zelda series is arguably one of the best series ever. Starting out on the NES and still going well today, The Legend of Zelda has so many great games in the series that it's hard to really classify a top 5 of them. Sure, there's duds like the CDI games, but for the majority, these games kick ass. So when I was putting together this list, it was actually much harder than I anticipated. But I think I've done the series justice with my top 5 games. If you agree, be sure to let me know in the comments below, leave a like on this video, and if you don't agree, be sure to let me know in the comments below and give me your top 5 Zelda games. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the top 5 Zelda games. Coming in at number 5 is Link's first handheld adventure. It was originally released on the Game Boy, and then an enhanced version was released on the Game Boy Color. Of course, I'm talking about The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening was Link's first handheld adventure, and many can argue that it's still his best handheld adventure. Pushing the Game Boy to its graphical limits, Link's Awakening doesn't feature the traditional Hyrule element or Princess Zelda, instead going for a whole new story as Link must leave Koholint Island and defeat the Windfish. The DX version released for the Game Boy Color, as seen here, offered a deeper color palette that took advantage of the system. No matter which version you play, Link's Awakening is a must-own Zelda title. Our number 4 title was a launch title for the Wii and also one of the last games released on the GameCube, The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess was the second Zelda game released on the GameCube and the first released on the Wii. While this title may be lower on other people's lists, I really enjoyed Twilight Princess. Taking place a century after Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess has a much darker and brooding story, and is the only game to have a teen rating in the Zelda franchise. With a lengthy quest, intelligent enemies, and a huge world to explore, Twilight Princess is my favorite GameCube and Wii Zelda title. Coming in at number 3 is the game that started it all, The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo Entertainment System. The Legend of Zelda for the NES started the franchise off, and is still a fantastic game to play today. While a bit simplistic by modern gaming standards, The Legend of Zelda laid the groundwork for the series that we know and love today. From cryptic puzzles to secret locations to epic boss battles, The Legend of Zelda for the NES is a timeless first entry in the series, and much more than just a historical relic of the series. Coming in at number 2 is a lot of people's number 1. One of the best games on the Super Nintendo, and one of the best games of the 16-bit era, and probably one of the best games of all time. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past was the third game released in the series. After the controversial Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, which was a side-scrolling affair, A Link to the Past went back to the roots of the Zelda franchise, with an epic top-down adventure. Being able to shift from the present to the past added a fantastic layer of depth to the game's puzzles, and the graphics and audio are some of the best of the 16-bit era. One of the few games that hasn't been re-released for a more modern console, A Link to the Past is one of the purest Zelda experiences. Coming in at number 1 is my favorite Zelda game of all time. It's a timeless classic, I play it all the time, I still play it to this day, and it never gets boring. Whether you have the N64, the 3DS version, or even a virtual console version, this, in my opinion, is the greatest Zelda game ever. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is my favorite Zelda game ever, and the best one in my opinion. Maybe it has to do with a touch of nostalgia, but Ocarina of Time is just perfect in my opinion. The storyline is fantastic, the pacing of the game is superb, the combat was flawless, and it was the first time Link was thrust into a 3D world with limitless possibilities. Saving Princess Zelda never felt so satisfying, and with epic dungeons and boss battles, Ocarina of Time is a masterpiece and the best Zelda game ever. Those are my top 5 Zelda games of all time. Whether you agree or disagree with the order of things, you have to admit, there's a lot of great Zelda games that could be considered in anyone's top 5. Be sure to leave me your top 5 in the comments section below, and like this video, subscribe to my channel for more great retro gaming content, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.